right, so check this out. I know when buying a home for the first time can be a very stressful process. But that's why it's good to give it a good lender like my buddy Jared Nicholson from Key Mortgage Group. He's so active to educate his borrowers and also let people be aware of their blind spots. This is a good man to make your lifetime lender, to make your process super, super stress free, and don't be turned off by the housing process. You can follow him and find him at jnhomeloan.com. So let me spell that out for you. jnhomeloan.com. So tap in with him. Jared NMLS number is 1969744. I repeat that. 1969744. Yo, welcome back to the season 2 recap of the Minds with Hakeem podcast. I'm here again with my lovely fiance Samantha.
Hi.
She loved being on the camera. But we're gonna go over this season and you guys get to see what we got in store coming around next. So I'll let Sam lead the way in this one and let's take off.
Well, if you guys remember from the last recap, the first question we turned the tables on Ju and asked him the icebreaker question. So to kick us off, what is the best advice that you've ever gotten?
It's a tough question, and it's one question that I think also like it changes too with whatever season you're in your life. I think the best advice I've ever got was it was simple, 2 words: no self doubt. And my mom told me that. A lot of my coaches told me that. Just no self doubt. When you don't doubt yourself, I feel like you can accomplish a lot. You can accomplish anything you set your goals in your mind to. So no self doubt is a slogan that I use every day. I wake up and I probably say that to myself every day. If not, I say it to you.
Yeah.
So I would say no self doubt, plain and simple. Just that allowed me to go out and accomplish the things I need to accomplish.
You have repeated it so many times that now I feel like it's advice that you've given me. And even like this week we were talking about like, I need to embody that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Well, moving forward, there was so much build up to the end of 2020. Everyone was so excited for the end of 2020 and this big expectation for 2021. So my first question is, what was that transition like for you? And then maybe you can roll into what have the first 3 months of 2021 been like? Have they turned out to be what you thought? Have they been different?
So 2020, we all know, was drastic. You know, that was a radical time for
to put it lightly.
Yeah, to put it super lightly, it was a drastic year. But 2021 is definitely like living up to the hype for like me and like my life and our goals and things that we have to do. We've been nonstop busy with a lot of things. With far as like podcasts, we're planning a wedding. Planning on doing a lot of other things in this year. So far so good, I would say. But we just been enjoying it as we go, I would say. Did I miss one part of your question? It was kind of a 2-part question, right?
Yeah, just like it was more like the transition. So yeah, I think you hit on both. Yeah. And then, you know, what the last 3 months have been like. And I think just to speak on that, like doesn't mean it's been easy, you know, like continuing the podcast in 2021, working on our personal goals and our relationship goals. It hasn't been easy, but it has been good.
Yeah.
And I think that it's always like good to differentiate that. So I like that you had a positive attitude towards it.
Good call out too, because nothing is easy. It takes a little sacrifice, a little work.
Always. Yep. All right, let's get into the season 2 recap. So I'll ask you some specific questions. What guest on season 2 were you the most surprised by?
I'd be surprised when I get a lot of my guests up. So this season I did a lot of like collabing and like I talked to a few like leaders within the community as well too. I would say the therapist Kayla Bill Consolver. Like she surprised me just like with her like thoughts and like her ways that she views stuff, and you know she's a therapist, so they view things a lot different. But like I learned so much from her in that episode, so like, and I didn't expect not to. That's why I offered her to be on the show, but she surprised, she wowed me with her passion and her determination to speak on different topics and radical topics and be so like comfy in her skin and comfy on set, like to get that message out there. I think if you definitely haven't watched that episode, please go check it out so you know what I'm talking about. But she wowed me, like she really just leaned into me a lot.
Yeah, she was incredible. I think that you have interviewed a few people, herself included, that you didn't know before meeting them to do the podcast, which is uncomfortable. You know, that's not easy, but it has always paid off. Like those guests wow us.
Yeah, every time. Every time.
What was a challenge that came up in season 2? And you can interpret that however you'd like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Every day we face challenges though, so if I had to pinpoint one challenge is that during the pandemic, I was out of work, and we're still in the pandemic. Let's be clear. But I was out of work, and then picking up a full-time job, planning a wedding, and getting these episodes out every week. That was the biggest challenge for the podcast. But that shows like grit, that shows consistency, and I'm honestly like proud of myself for staying on top of that with my team here. My whole team is here right now, but with my team, with the help of my team, and I'm proud of us, should I say.
Me too. Yeah, that was a great way to answer it. I guess I'm going to spin it another way. What is a challenge that got brought up in an episode? Like maybe a guest challenged you or challenged the audience. What's one that really stuck out to you?
Okay. Yeah, good. I think interviewing people who you're alike, but also you realize you're different from was a challenge for me. And Julian on his last episode, I think it came out like 2 episodes ago, or 3, maybe 3. His thoughts and his views are very, very like he honed them and he loved them, he lived in them. And like sometimes, like to me, I'd be like, Julian has a very, very interesting perspective on things. I've never looked at life that way. So that was a challenging like episode for me, like in a good way, I think.
Because it challenged your viewpoint. Yeah.
Exactly. So and a lot of my guests did that, but Julian really does that. Like I think he fills the air out in the room and he go be himself regardless. Like even though he know what's going on. And that was really like good for me to see and to live in. So
yeah, it is so good to be absorbing things that are different from the way that you think. Very cool. All right, so out of all the episodes, out of all the guests, this is just share a highlight. Share something that you like think on fondly.
I got a ton of I gotta go with one of the most recent episodes though. Like I hate to do this because like I feel like I think on it a lot because I feel strongly about that way. But it was like when Phoenix on the Rise Again podcast was talking about being yourself, authentically yourself. Yeah. Like that's a highlight for me because it's important, and I pray on it that I stay Jjuan, like do it all, because like we're in the copycat era, and like I think that's one of the most important things from my team with the Jjuan Hakeem podcast. What we do is we try to be ourselves. Like if Marquis show up not being Marquis, we gonna talk about it, and like if I show up and not be myself, he gonna let me know like, what are you doing? Like, and same with me and you. We got those checks in. So I think that was one of the biggest highlights for me, like in general, just like, stay Jjuan.
And in being yourself, you're wanting to be the very best version of yourself. Absolutely. So the three of us are challenging each other, setting goals for ourselves and helping one another with our goals to be the very best version of ourselves. And I think that was really like an underlying theme to what Phoenix was saying, because Phoenix is saying like, be authentic, be you, and when you fail, learn from it, get better, and that contributes to shaping towards becoming the best version of yourself. Yeah.
I got another highlight too.
Okay.
If I can get one.
Let's go.
My girl who I just recently met, Abner, she came on and we did a phone interview, and I really wish and the phone interview was awesome. I really wish we could have got down in person, but we've been safe with all this. It's still in the pandemic, like we said. But she said something like, as far as like speaking on Black people, and like I asked her a question, and the question I asked her, I was like, so like, can you speak to the way that Black women in this world, I mean, in this country, has been disrespected or just been like neglected and torn down? And she like stopped me like midway through, and she was like, see, that's like something that America wants, to separate the Black man and the Black woman. She didn't want to answer that question from a Black woman perspective. She wanted to answer that question from a Black person's perspective. Like, I was like, look at me, like contradicting myself, like splitting up the Black woman and the Black man when we're all the same, like we're all human beings. And she kind of like challenged me, and like that was a huge highlight, and that was growth.
Yeah.
Like for myself, like in her answer, and I was like, I literally stopped. I'm like, whoa, I never even thought about it like that. But that's another one of my biggest highlights where I was just like shocked, like super shocked.
Yep, I love it. So this next question you might have actually already answered, or maybe you have a new answer. What is something that you learned from one of your guests throughout season 2 that you went and started to apply to your daily life?
I asked a lot about failure this season. Like I really wanted to like lean into other human beings on their failures, and then how did they react when they respond when they fail. So like I fail every day. I feel like I fall short of lines that I hold myself to. So like what I learned is, and I think it was Trevor. Trevor came on and we talked about like he got the he worked for a regenerative lab company where they do like neurosurgeon medical thing, biotechnology and stuff like that. Yeah. And he was just talking about embracing his failures, and like failures shaped him like his whole life. Like when he talked about when he started a business and it didn't work, but he didn't sink, he didn't sulk, and like he embraced it and did other things throughout his failure. So I think that's something like that I apply right away. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna like keep embracing my failure. Like, cause like I thought I was, but the way he did it in the phase he had, like it woke me back up like to like just my failures daily and like my failures monthly, weekly, whatever. And like I try to embrace it more, and it's actually, I think it's helping me today.
Yep. To instead of just run away from it, lean into it, experience whatever sadness, grief, relief, like whatever emotions are happening, and just let that happen and learn from it.
Yeah.
Keep moving. Take it as a lesson, like Phoenix said too.
Yeah, Phoenix said that. Yeah, I was just about to say Phoenix said that as well.
Yeah. All right. That was, I think, a pretty good recap of all of the guests that we've had. What a really great season. Can you give us an overview of some of the new things that have happened with the Minds over the last season that maybe have changed since the last time we met and did this?
Yeah. So one of the things you guys probably just recently saw is I had a 12-year-old kid on there. So every season, I want to look at the world through the eyes of the youth, because if we really try to inspire and trying to grow ourselves, we'll lean into the youth. And like I think only getting the youth up front and on the camera and just speaking and hearing their perspective would be great for us as human beings, especially as adults. So I'll start interviewing one youth person every season. And then Inside the Artist will be back sooner than later. I haven't forgot about my artist people. Keep doing y'all thing. I promise. We in love with it. We inspired by it. We got a website coming. Big website launch coming out where it'll be just like a one-stop shop for the podcast. So you can watch every episode from the website. You can there'll be merchandise on there that you can purchase. Big merch drop coming up soon. So we can have fun with that. You guys can rep the brand now. Excited about that. Blog coming. Got a blog coming on the website. The website will have everything that we're doing next, and we'll have community events on there. And
yeah, can you talk about maybe what the Minds has been doing in the community?
Yeah, we started a food giveaway drive right now, where we every other weekend where we're feeding the community. We'll be popping up at different spots, but right now we just on 6th and College. feeding. So if you want to help with that, you can donate. You can bring a meal. If you coordinate with us, you can possibly hand out food. We just want to be respectful of the virus right now and not have too many people up there handing out. But that wouldn't be possible without you guys, like the community work and the website. I have like community aspect on it coming soon. I don't think it'll be on there right away, but so you can all the community ways to get in touch, ways to help, ways to outreach that I'll be on there. But and also we planning on a new program. I don't want to release it on here. It's for the youth, but
I thought of another one that has been new since the last thing, the community workouts. You're doing that with the Minds too.
Yeah, we partnered with Just Works, Good Vibes. We're doing every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 7 a.m. We're doing a community workout where we can just come move our body. And it's open to all age, from the time they're able to walk to the time they're able to crawl, like literally. So anybody's welcome to come to there 7 to 7:45. We get to speak with people after the workout and just lean into the community and hear the youth. Honestly, and I think it'd be cool if we get a lot of parents working out with their kids as well too.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Parents, come see us. Like, we're not gonna kill y'all. We just want to get you active, get you moving. We've been sitting around in this pandemic.
I think that just from what you've been saying, there's just like such a breadth of things that we're trying to do. It's not just a podcast. It's like a holistic educational thing, and you're working on your mind and your body and serving your community. You're listening to people of all different backgrounds and races, and now we're expanding that not just in that direction, but like the youth. And Ian from season 1 challenged us to get someone from the older generation too, so we can learn from someone older. But I just think that's such a great model to live our lives. You know, we're trying to do that in the podcast to have a good variety of ideas and outlets and things like that.
And the podcast, I'm glad you said that. The podcast is just a hub. We want to change the course of our community. We want to focus on what's here and where we at, and other places. If we can help, we'll get there. But we want to build up where we at first through the podcast, and through our special guests that come on, who are greatly appreciated, because us three, we can't do this alone. It takes an army. So like I said, reach out. Like, if y'all want to get involved with the Jjuan Hakeem podcast, we are open to all. So get it. So reach out, and you can help us, just like the things we was just talking about. We need you. Yeah,
whether it's a guest on the podcast, a guest on Wisdom Wednesday, a volunteer to serve food, coming to work out with us. There's so many ways to get involved, and no matter what, you're gonna make a difference and be a part of this community.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more.
That's all my questions.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to season 3. You guys stay attentive. Me and my beautiful fiance and my partner in crime, Marquis, will continue to give you guys gems. Like I said, always we support you. Even if you don't support us, we fans of y'all, so we love y'all. And we'll see y'all sooner than later. I promise.
We're not going anywhere.
Peace.